3 and 45. That's BYU. Their big three, Whiting, Leday, Wesley. They've got to put about 45 up, or I don't think they have a chance. They got to block out. Utah's big, strong. The penetration must be there because you get to the free throw line. One extra pass for the Utes with motion. That's why they've come so far. Avoid the bonus. BYU is a great free throw shooting team. Use your size and depth in the second half to beat on BYU.
This is amazing. Look at this. The series history between these two schools. This is the 230th time they've met, and one game separates them.
It's unbelievable. You know, I thought that was one of the great psychological ploys when Rick Majerus comes out, got the people pumped up. Here's your officials. The referee is David Hall, Bob Staffen, Eddie Jackson. They'll have their work cut out.
Depth is a question mark for Brigham Young. They are without Travis Hansen with a broken bone in his right foot, and they're working against a home winning streak that has reached 43 games. Wesley and Britton Johnson to jump it up. Wesley the tap, and we are underway.
Both teams will play man-to-man. Have seen a little bit of triangle and two from both of them, but they want to play man-to-man. They believe they can match up.
Whiting. He had a big game against Utah, and he starts with a three. He hit 21 in Provo when these two teams first met this year.
He's just so good, and that's the way to start if you're on the road. Tough, tough place to win at. Utah runs their curls as good as anybody. These guards get a lot of good shots.
This is Travis Spivey, Cullen. In low to Britton Johnson.
They'll make that extra pass, Rich. They'll throw it away.
Yeah, they made one too many that time. And it's a turnover.
Heath Schroyer runs the defense for Steve Cleveland. He does a great job. I watched him at practice. This guy played at the Matha for Morgan Wooten, and he knows what he's doing. You know, they work hard on defense.
There's a look at Dick Huntsicker. The calling card of Utah has always been tough defense, great rebounding teams. But Brigham Young's defense has been fabulous these last 2 weeks. BYU's won 3 in a row. Utah has won 6 in a row. Leday in the lane, and he's bumped.
That's what you have to do. Utah, you give up a layup, you sit down. You've got to get into the bonus if you're BYU. This guy's done an amazing job. Just think how tough it is as an interim coach. Are the kids going to listen?
And you know what? I thought the expectations for this team were inflated to start the year. Everyone figured they would repeat as champions. They had literally no one coming back.
They had one senior starter, and he didn't even start in the all-off. Terrific block right there. But Bradley wouldn't listen early in the year. And Hunsaker sat him down. And that's the position you're in when you're an interim. The boss is away.
And I think a lot of the expectations were because of Rick Majerus. And then suddenly, Dick Hunsaker's in a no-win situation. And I think he's done a fine job. Leday for 3. Missed it long. Cooper the rebound.
Cooper's done a good job. Hansen is still not ready to play. Travis Hansen has a stress fracture. Could be back for the tournament. And Cooper has done a good job on the backboards. Both teams run motion.
This is Leday. Wesley posting up. Leday back to Wesley. A good three-point shooter. He's fouled by Cullen. A raucous crowd here at the Huntsman, as is expected.
We got a sign up, the Huntsman Center hooligans. Everybody's copying what happens at Cameron and Duke. And these people get after you.
Yeah, they've made you an honorary member, Irv.
Yeah, right, I'm sure.
You fit right in up there.
Thank you.
I'll bet they were all over you when you worked in here.
A little bit.
Shot clock was reset on the foul, so a fresh 35 for Brigham Young. Leday, a 3, and it's short. Burgess with the rebound.
They don't run a lot. They take care of the basketball. They want to run pattern. They want to run their curls. They want to make the extra pass.
Spivey, Britton Johnson. Utah's a good three-point shooting team, 38%, second in the conference.
This Britton Johnson, there are 11 brother acts in the country, Britton and Jeff. Right here.
Britton gets Utah on the board.
I think the two Johnsons are the toughest matches in this conference. You watch them play and you figure, how would you match up against them? And I think the other brother comes off the bench is even a tougher one to match up with.
Wesley backing in on Burgess. And Wesley missed. Cooper keeps it alive. Nielsen rips it loose. Nielsen falling away.
Let me tell you something. This Nielsen was sensational in the tournament last year. We did the game
against Utah too. Remember
killed
that?
him. If he gets off to a good start, shoots effectively, it seems to get everybody going. Watch the defense on this end now. Once again, Utah has really come on with their motion. They make the extra pass. They really work hard.
Burgess really has yet to get a quality touch. He's got it in the low blocks, and Wesley reaches around and gets it back. We have not talked about Chris Burgess yet, have we? And that's a real story here. Chris Burgess was recruited by Brigham Young, by the coaching staff that Steve Cleveland replaced. And they put a lot of pressure on him to sign at Brigham Young, and he went to Duke. And he drew the ire of that coaching staff, and they said some things they probably shouldn't have said.
Well, he hasn't gotten loose yet, as you mentioned. His shot is missed. But let me tell you something. I talked to a guy who saw every Duke practice. Burgess at times dominated Elton Brand, the #1 pick in the NBA. He hasn't gotten loose yet. He's had a bad ankle, but no question about it. He's got the moves. He's got the experience.
And here's Whiting, the former Utah Ute, drops in a three.
You know, this guy is on fire. He's got something to prove. He left here, goes to BYU, and that's the unthinkable thing with such a rivalry. What a shooter.
Yeah, and you got Burgess, who is supposed to be a Cougar, who is now a Ute. Look at this. Brigham Young in the Huntsman Center has opened with an 8-2 run. Trent Whiting from long distance.
To be competitive in music, I depend on the freshest information.
Word on the street is this thing is really buzzing. I'm waiting on that press release. When I get back, I want to review the sales figures, get the contract out right away. I don't want to miss out on the opening weekend.
When it comes to his investments, Steve Gottlieb chooses CSFB Direct, so he can keep up with the market through real-time news and quotes, and receive price alerts on all his favorite stocks.
If you want to be in the game, you got to keep your finger on the pulse.
People who know CSFB Direct.
Brigham Young on top of Utah. Rich Waltz, Irv Brown. And here's a look at Chris Burgess, the junior. When he turned down Brigham Young, the coaching staff that recruited him and a lot of the fans around the program kind of brought the Mormon church into the equation and said, how could you say no to that? How could you say no to us? Which is extremely unfair to the kid. He chose Duke. I probably would have chosen Duke at that point as well. And it didn't work out at Duke, and here he is in Utah, and this is what he could do for a program.
Oh, boy, he got away with a great push-off. He's clever. You don't want to let this guy get loose. I mean, he is that capable. Remember, they bring off the bench, too. This guy's a mean, tough customer. They got a lot of size.
Whiting lost his dribble. Here's Leday.
Leday's got a bad ankle. We saw him at UNLV 2 weeks ago, and he's fighting that ankle problem.
Wesley battling Cullen and Johnson down low. Takes it right to Cullen, missed the layup, didn't get the rebound, and lost it out of bounds. The big kids for Utah are very, very good in the low blocks. 8-4, Brigham Young on top. Timeout at the Huntsman Center.
Oven toasting brings out the taste.
Quiznos subs are toasted for mouth-watering flavors. Try our smoked turkey sub with roasted red pepper sauce on rosemary Parmesan bread. Quiznos. Oven toasted tastes better.
It's the fastest growing sport in the country. A sport defined by performance, determination, and teamwork. The pros know when conditions lean to the extreme, you gotta go with the performer. And the 66 team is driven to perform. To protect your engine start to finish, drive with Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Premium Quality Motor Oil.
Proof again that Phillips 66 is the performance company.
You kids don't know how easy you have it. Why, when I was your age, that was easy.
If a thing is worth doing, it's worth doing well.
We start at 8 a.m. sharp. I trust you don't have a problem with that.
8-4 ball game. Here's what Chris Burgess can do for you inside.
Remember, this guy benches 300 pounds. A clever little push-off. If you do it down low, you can get away with it. He goes up and he jams it. That's the way to feed the post. There can be no backside help. Very intelligent move by Dick Huntsaker's crew right here. Rich, here's a key substitution here. Dawes is in. This is the guy who'll come in and pick up some fouls. This is very smart on BYU's behalf.
Spinning move by Johnson. Burgess going to the line. Dawes, I think, with the contact.
Yeah, and once again, Dawes is the guy that they'll bring in, and he'll hammer a little bit.
Yeah, BYU doesn't have anybody that can soak up fouls except the young freshman they bring in off the bench, and he's one of them.
Derek Dawes played right here in the city at Cottonwood High School.
Here's Burgess. If you've just joined us, Rick Majerus was here briefly. Before the game, he made a surprise visit to center court to honor his senior, Nate Altoff, and this place went bananas.
You know, and he can't watch the game.
No, he can't. He
leaves.
He leaves. He did. You know, and I think that's, there's a look at Altoff. I think that's a positive thing. That Rick Majerus has done one thing that I really respect this year, and that's let Dick Huntsaker coach.
Yeah, there's a steal by Spivey.
Spivey in the lane. Leday.
Look at this, the numbers are right.
With Whiting. It was tipped. And it's a Brigham Young ball.
Look at Steve Cleveland. It's a terrific job with this program, bringing them back. Here's the pass. First, it's off his foot, hits the official. Remember, he's in play. That's Eddie Jackson. That's a good job by BYU defending the hole. Nielsen did a good job.
Steve Cleveland has turned this program around. His team, or it's Brigham Young, not his team. The team he inherited was 1-25.
Well, he's quality. I've never seen a year like this, though.
Nielsen got it.
This guy can play a little bit. You got an interim coach here at Huntsaker. You got a guy who's filling in at UNLV. I've never seen anything like this. And you know what? They've hung in there and done the job. I can't say enough for what Huntsaker has done.
Cullen got it.
Oh, can he shoot? Guy's a pitcher on a baseball team.
Out of Chelan, Washington.
His father played at Eastern Michigan. Just don't, you know, this guy from the Dallas Mavericks, Nowitzki, can shoot. You don't see too many guys 7 foot that can really fill it up.
Whiting to Leday. Thought about it. In the lane. Drew the contact. It's offensive.
Well, you know, the two officials came in, and your mechanics are, it goes to the official who's leading with it. Watch this here. Officials referee the defense, and that's a good job of refereeing the defense. Smart officials watch the defender.
So Leday, his first personal. Steve Cleveland's not real happy with the last call.
Block charts, nobody's happy.
It's a good point.
They'll continue to run their curls.
And Cullen continues to shoot it.
I think we previewed the two that we should have. Cullen and Whiting, they've been the offense in the early going.
Whiting has 6, Cullen has 5. This is Whiting. Crowd starting to get into it. Leday has missed his 2 shots. Into the lane again, he's fouled. Cullen got him.
There haven't been too many kids at BYU that have penetrated. That's what Leday brings to the party. And you've got to do this to get into the bonus. Watch Terrell Leday. He came from Fresno. This was the earlier one. This was the charge. This particular opportunity, he's going to the line. Let's pick it up right here. Here it is. There's the block, no position. You can't just go from the perimeter, and this is what he brings to BYU's program.
It was Cullen's foul, his first. And Leday hits the first free throw. Things are getting closer to the EAS tournament in Las Vegas. You can check out all the Mountain West stuff on www.mountainwestconf.com. Irv, why don't you have your picture on that site yet?
I got a face for radio, Rich.
When does that happen? Leday drops in 2. So Terrell Leday with 2 free throws. Brigham Young up 3. An emotionally charged Huntsman Center for a great rivalry. Nate Althoff, Wesley knocked it away.
Here's the strategy. Althoff comes in, Wesley comes back because look at this, we're tied.
Kevin Bradley.
Now Bradley can really do it. He's out of Compton Community College. He was a problem for Dick Hunsaker. Let's tell it like it is. And Hunsaker just sat him down. And that's not easy when you're an interim coach. This guy was a star.
And now he's really producing off the bench. Inside, Jacob Chrisman, a freshman out of Provo.
He shakes loose, got a nice little pick from Bobbitt, and it worked out.
Bradley started the year as the point guard, and now he comes off the bench as the shooting guard.
Jeff Johnson is in also, and I mentioned earlier, Rich, he was a tough match.
Althoff is really banging with Wesley inside. And whose foul will that be? It's Wesley's.
That's number 2, and that's the right call. Boy, is he tough, this Britton Johnson. You want to see an athlete, watch this guy, folks. Britton Johnson's off a mission. Look at him put it on the floor with his left hand. Goes in strong. The contact came with the knee. One more time. Very, very athletic guy. Kick can really move, can he?
What does Steve Cleveland do now with Wesley? He's probably on his way out of the game. First one is up and good.
Dawes is in for him. That was the fear that the BYU coaching staff had, that Wesley would get in early foul trouble. Remember, he's been their best on the road. They have 3 guys who've been terrific, but on the road, the one guy who's really been consistent is Wesley.
Now, Wesley's scoring close to 20 points a game on the road, so you're right. 2 free throws by Britton Johnson. And we're all tied at 15. So a lot of new faces on the floor for BYU. Daniel Bobbitt, the freshman out of California, threw it away. You've got Bobbitt, you've got Derek Dawes, and Jacob Chrisman, 3 freshmen in the game, along with a senior backcourt of Trent Whiting and Terrell Leday.
And you make your substitutions early in the game so they get the butterflies out. Here's Althoff. Now he can do it. He catches.
Althoff the miss. The follow is good. Britton Johnson's got 6 points.
Yeah, I watched him up in Wyoming. I couldn't believe how athletic this guy is. This is a tremendous player. Murray, Utah, very athletic.
Leday down the lane, whistle before the shot. And the foul goes on Travis Spivey.
That's 14 fouls with 12:22 left. As you look at this, Rick played up the road at Weaver for Neil McCarthy.
He started his career at UTEP for the Bear.
Here's head coach of Ball State. If you have to lose your coach, I can think of no better guy to fill in and do a job. Look at this.
Spivey the steal. He's tripped by Leday.
Boy, this Spivey's got a pair of hands, strong. This beginning is everything we thought it would be. All right, let's pick it up from the steal. And then the trip, 6'1", 205.
And Irv, it's a big trip. It's the 2nd foul on Leday.
Yeah, they got foul problems. Here comes Cooper back in. Spivey started out at Georgia Tech, went to Iowa State. Here's a teammate of Tracy McGrady. Here's the kicker on this guy, though. He was an all-state football player. He's got that football mentality. He will beat on you.
So this is an interesting look for Brigham Young. Wesley and Leday are out 8 minutes into this first half. And in all likelihood, they're not coming back, Herb, with the 2 fouls.
No, I agree, unless you really get down.
Bradley with the right hand. He's got 5.
Now remember, Utah's won 43 straight in conference play here.
Someone has got to take charge for Brigham Young.
Yeah, and it's probably going to have to be Whiting. Take a look at the field goals. That's not the story right now, though. The story is foul problems.
Bobick to Dawes. Back to Bobick. Bradley the rebound. Here comes Utah. 4-point Utah lead. Whiting picks up a foul.
Yeah, the foul is outside first. The charge came after the first one. David Hall with the call. Pick it up. You referee this one. Watch the first count. Right there, hand check, then the charge.
That's the first personal on Whiting. Foul trouble for Brigham Young. And all of a sudden, Utah has a 19-15 lead. Steve Cleveland pleading his case to no avail. Utes by 4.
America's Air Force has a plane so advanced, it dominates everything in the air. Yet on radar, it's as small as a bird. The meanest, baddest bird on the planet. Join the team that keeps us flying. America's Air Force. No one comes close.
All right, let's try this again. Here we are.
Drinking Miller Lite.
Watching football.
Shopping for curtains.
We don't shop for curtains.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
no,
Eric?
no, I think I got it, yeah.
We're bench pressing.
Watching mud wrestling. We're hitting the hoops, man.
Yeah, filling up the potpourri.
Got a friend who's whipped? Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Make sure they use the coasters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, Miss Palmer, how can I help you?
Hi, Bill. Time to rotate those tires. Cooper Tires. Drive on.
(19-15) Utah on top. Let's take a look at our sub of the week. And so far, the sub of the week has been Kevin Bradley. 5 points off the bench.
Yeah, and he's 2 for 2. Has contributed big time on defense. Watch this effort in here. As Kevin fakes, shoots, nothing but the net.
Our sub of the week brought to you by Quiznos. Oven toasted tastes better.
Once again, I just think Dick Hunsaker has done a great job with Kevin Bradley. I think Bradley will realize it a little later on. He wasn't paying attention to his coach because he was an interim guy. He wasn't doing the things you're supposed to do, run the offense.
And that's one of the things I really like what Rick Majerus has done. He has distanced himself from the team and let Dick Hunsaker coach the team. Because you can only have one head coach.
What a hard drive by Britton Johnson. Britton Johnson is killing BYU. He's fearless. There's a look at his coach. Britton Johnson has just changed the face of this thing with his driving efforts. Well, I don't like the call, but somebody hit him.
Eric Nielsen's first.
McDonald's All-American. Tell you something else about this guy. He's got a great attitude. Really likes to play the game.
7 for Johnson.
All right, Cougars need a hoop. Montague usually finds the open man.
And Matt Montague in the game.
They don't have a lot of firepower. Remember, 2 of their leading scorers are sitting down. Day and Wesley have foul problems.
And Trent Whiting is on the bench right now.
Yep.
Bobick.
That's the way to do it.
Oh,
Drive.
gives it off to Dawes. Altoff with the foul.
That's great strategy by Steve Cleveland. You got your people out, go to the hole, give the officials the decision. Here we are. The one thing that we mentioned, you get into the bonus early. You got a lot of good things going. There's a 2-shot foul opportunity coming up. 5 fouls on Utah, 7 on BYU. It's a very good free throw shooting team.
It's one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. Brigham Young comes in at 77.5%. That is 4th in the country. It obviously leads the Mountain West.
Big kid was recruited by Ohio State and Arizona State. He's pretty active. He runs the floor. I think he has a future for him. Once again, his mission today is to eat up some fouls while Wesley's sitting out.
Dawes hits one. It's a 4-point Utah lead. So Bradley and Spivey in the backcourt at the same time. This is Britton Johnson.
Look at that. I'm telling you, there's no defense for this kid, in my opinion.
Not on the Brigham Young bench right now.
He is something else. So he's so long, and he can do so many things.
Montague a 3. He rushed it and missed it. And there's Britton Johnson with another rebound. Bradley to Spivey.
They'll keep it spread. They usually have good spacing.
Bradley steps into a 3, missed it badly. Althoff misses. And here comes Montague. Cooper. I think they got to get the ball in Cooper's hands a little bit more.
You got to go inside.
Nielsen got it. Eric Nielsen's got 7. Boy, he really has blossomed since stepping on the campus in Provo.
All right, now here's the situation with 9:55 left. Steve Cleveland doesn't believe he can wait anymore. Wesley, Leday getting ready to come back in. Whiting getting ready to come back in. Next whistle.
Jeff Johnson. Spivey, little spin move by Montague. Who wants it? Cooper was tied up. And I believe he had the ball when he slid out of bounds.
That's his game, though, skinning up his knees. Cooper is really competitive. You think these kids aren't going after it hard? A lot of folks diving on the floor.
Yeah, his back was on the line. So it's a good call. And here's Wesley. He's back in along with Leday with 2 fouls. And we take a peek at our scoreboard. Colorado State and New Mexico underway at Moby. Our USA Today, ESPN Top 25 scoreboard. Look at Indiana. Look what they did to Wisconsin.
I can't believe that one.
And Tennessee.
Wisconsin's a pretty good ball club. They don't look to score a lot of points.
Jerry Green really needed that win for Tennessee. And Duke by 2. Florida wins big. Another 3 from Bradley. He's got 8.
I was talking to Bill Markroff, a longtime radio announcer. I said, what's key today for Utah? He says, Kevin Bradley. Didn't hesitate.
Well, let's see if Leday, who may be a little hesitant to drive with his 2 fouls, let's see how that affects him. Cooper's pass is stolen by Jacobson.
I haven't said much about Jacobson. You know, he came here as a shooter. He's really picked up his entire game as a walk.
Jacobson travels. BYU ball. Dick Hunsaker pacing the Utah sideline. You know, the Utes had just a horrible December. They were 3-5 in December. But once they got into conference, things have clicked. 9-3 in conference play. Leday. Wesley. Came up short. 8-3 in conference play is Utah, as is BYU. Spivey to Burgess.
And Wesley had to lay off. What a great alley-oop. Utah by 9.
Timeout. It is bedlam in the Huntsman Center.
Burgess shakes loose underneath. He gets a terrific pass. Boy, is that well done. Wesley is fortunate he doesn't get his 3rd foul right there. One more time, though, here. All right, let's go one more time. What do you think, Rich? Yeah, we can do it.
Let's see how close he came to that foul. Yeah, you're right, Irv. That could have easily been number 3.
Official laid off it. People say, does an official know when somebody has 3 fouls, 4 fouls? I knew all the time how many fouls Walton had. Make no mistake about it. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know, but you know. You're not dumb.
Brigham Young got off to a quick start and an 8-2 lead. Chris Burgess in Utah came storming back.
He's really coming on. Came here, he had some some back problems and an ankle.
Yep.
I believe that BYU is at the most crucial stretch of the game. They've got to drive and forget about these guys getting in foul trouble. They can't be tender. Just like that.
Jeff Johnson, the rebound. Here comes Spivey.
Team that wins the Mountain West Conference gets the bye because UNLV cannot play in the tournament. It's huge. Means you only have to win 2 games rather than 3 to be the conference champion now. Cooper, that's a block. Crowd doesn't like it, but it's the right call. Because you hit the ground doesn't mean that it's a charge. Because you flop doesn't mean that it's a charge. It's never going to be popular with the home crowd, but look where the contact is. You didn't get in front.
Second personal on Spivey.
Cooper's recruited by Stanford. Grandpa played at BYU. He's pretty cagey.
I think he is. He's about 3 inches shy of being the Alex Jensen of BYU. You know, Alex Jensen is now playing in Turkey, the great player who did a little bit of everything. Cooper is so smart and is so fundamentally sound.
Yep. Good player.
Jacobson back on. Spivey on the bench with 2 fouls. Cooper makes them both. BYU trying to hang in right now with foul trouble. Utah by 7.
For a great car at a great rate, call or click Thrifty.
Good morning, it's 6 a.m. Come on, your meeting's in 2 hours.
Comfort Inn knows the business traveler.
I've been thinking. Kill the slides. Just talk to him.
Remember, enunciate. Take deep breaths.
Our complimentary breakfast saves you time and money.
You the man.
Our guest privileges frequency program earns you free nights fast. And we serve business travelers in over 1,500 locations worldwide.
You did it again.
I love my job.
It's more than a room, it's comfort.
For a great car at a great rate, call or click Thrifty.
Utah by 7. A little under 8 minutes left in the first half. Next week, Irv, we're headed back to the foot of the Sandia Mountains. Utah, New Mexico. Reuben Douglas and the Lobos in the final regular season game for both of these teams on ESPN Plus next Saturday, 1 Mountain, noon Pacific.
I ask you this question: is there a better athlete in this league than this guy? Watch Britton Johnson. He's got 10 points. Look at this move. You got to be special to do this. BYU had defended effectively. He goes underneath the bucket, uses a basket to protect himself. Look at this. Now he doesn't travel either. That's perfectly legal.
A 2-year mission to Houston, an LDS mission, and I think a lot of people expected when he stepped back on campus that he would be where he was when he played on that NCAA final team back in '98. But it takes some time, and he's just starting to show that promise that everybody held for him.
Well, Burgess, you let this guy get loose late in the season, you really got yourself something with Cullen and Johnson and those guards. It's a pretty tough basketball team. You made a good point in the beginning, Rick. They were favored, and you wondered why with one starter back. We weren't even starting now.
I think it had a lot to do with Rick Majerus and the tradition and the history and the great success they've had here. And suddenly you take Majerus out of the equation, and here's Dick Hunsaker having to live up to all these expectations. Wesley But boy, this Utah team is playing well right now.
Well, they're shooting the ball. They're beating them on the pass. They're beating them on the dribble. There's one shot only. And Majerus got him going with that little speech at the beginning. That was well thought of.
Britton Johnson the miss. Jeff Johnson couldn't rebound it. And BYU gets the ball.
All right, Cooper's coming back in.
Dick Hunsaker, make no mistake, the glasses and the tie and the whole thing, he looks a bit rather bookish and quiet.
Yeah,
but when the ball gets up, man, that chin gets out, and he is as tough as they come.
Well, listen, what he had to do with Bradley showed you what kind of guy this guy is. He took him on.
Whiting had a great start, and if they can get him some more shots, Brigham Young has a chance to hang in there.
And you got to hang in there through the first half and get through this this initial explosion, because Utah has been exceptional.
Burgess again, you
got to dive the post with this guy. He's just too strong. Wesley in foul problems. You cannot do it one-on-one. Somebody's got to dive the post and take your chances there. He'll kill you.
Mark Jackson is in the lineup for Utah. Burgess has got 8 points. Wesley, blocked by Burgess.
Is that impressive? He wants the ball.
And he'll get it. Here comes Brigham Young. Leday with Cooper. Remember, Leday's got fouls, and it's a block. Boy, that was high anxiety for Steve Cleveland. Terrell Leday with 2 personals, and Nick Jacobson is down.
He's in a lot of pain. Terrell Leday is a senior, 6'3", 195. This is a transfer from Fresno Community College. Saw him hold Eddie House to 5 points. He's been very good for this program.
So Jacobson is all right, and he'll stay in the game. And Leday goes to the line.
Asked Dick Hunsaker who the MVP in this league was. He thought it was Leday. Wesley's coming out now. They're putting this night in now. This night will hit you a little bit. They've been around.
A 14-point effort, the first time these two teams met.
Trace Caton is in. Here's another guy back off a mission on that Final Four team. Brother played here. Look at the guns on this guy. This guy been in a weight room. Get some strong kids here.
Brother was Ben.
Yep.
So it's a 7-point ball game. Jeff Johnson the drive and the finish.
How good is that? Try that sometime. Go to the baseline and throw up a runner like that with a touch like that. These Johnsons are all right, huh?
Utah is doing to BYU what they've been doing their last 6 ball games. Leday,
good drive.
Utah has been getting production from everybody on the floor, including this man, Bradley. He's got 11.
Does he have some ability? Steve Cleveland, very upset. He wanted to travel. 12-point lead, biggest of the night. Pick up the 3 by Bradley. Guy really has ability. He was terrific at Compton Community College.
Kevin Bradley with 11. 3 3-pointers.
Here's Burgess. Once again, they don't dive the post. They try and do a one-on-one. He's just big, strong. He believes this is his day. You know, he's running better than I've seen him, which he's had the bad leg. I've seen him limp a lot, and I don't see that today.
An avulsion fracture, whatever that is, of the right ankle.
Don't look at me. I haven't enough time.
He missed
tough enough time with these words.
He missed 4 games. It's not as bad as a regular fracture in a sense that you can be healed in a couple of weeks, but it really slowed him down.
Let's see if they can find Whiting. There he is.
He'll take the three and hit it. Boy, this kid
on fire.
Has got 11.
And he's got to keep shooting because Wesley has got foul problems, hasn't been able to really break a sweat. You got to go to Whiting and Leday.
He's missed one shot today. He's 4 of 5. All 3 threes he's hit. And he's single-handedly keeping Brigham Young in this. Bradley.
Look at the competition on the backboards.
Burgess got the loose ball. Nice athletic move by Whiting, though, to save the ball.
Look at the three-pointers.
Britton Johnson into Burgess. Burgess again. Nielsen the rebound.
The numbers are right. If they hurry now, Burgess having a problem getting down the floor. Steve Cleveland wanted to push it, but just didn't get it. Cooper
finds Nielsen. Great pass.
That is a nice pass.
Great pass, and that's what Cooper does for you.
Nielsen's one of those guys that nobody talks much about. He's just a quiet guy.
And he's got a quiet 9 points.
And we saw him in the tournament last year just go wild against University of Utah.
It's a 7-point game, 3.5 minutes left, first half.
There's a few people tired out there. Depth is going to be very important in the second half.
Britton Johnson to Bradley. Burgess down low, battling Knight. That's where Utah wants to go.
BYU's picked it up on the perimeter with their defense. Much better. They get a turnover. Boy, that pressure paid off that time.
Timeout on the floor, Dick Hunsaker. And the Utes on top of Brigham Young. 36-29, 3 minutes left. First half.
Keep your business moving in the right direction, you need to make the best decisions about your image. Fast Signs offers sign and graphic solutions to make your choices simple. With locations coast to coast, Fast Signs is ready to keep your business moving. Fast Signs, sign and graphic solutions made simple. Call, click, or visit a Fast Signs location near you.
Quick question. They all have the same body. They all have the same skill. Who's going to win? Answer. The one who decides. MyoFlex ready-to-drink shakes from EAS. Complete nutrition to help build muscle and energize performance.
Welcome to the Miller Lite Racing Garage. This could be your chance to win the ultimate race fan experience.
Grab your Miller Lite Racing VIP hard card, and you could be the lucky winner who gets to race by day and party by night. You'll fly to Vegas and spend all day learning how to drive a stock car. And after a few laps around the track, you and your friends will get to hang out in the party pit at the Miller Lite Racing Garage. So pick up your Miller Lite Racing VIP hard card in the specially marked packages at Miller Lite. Taste the victory. It's Miller time.
36-29, Utah on top. Brigham Young racked with foul trouble. Early foul trouble for McKelly Wesley and Terrell Leday. Steve Cleveland trying to scramble and hang in there. And here's what it's done to the top 3 scorers. Whiting has been fabulous with 11, but Wesley has been silent and Leday has been ineffective.
Yeah, and you can't win unless you get 45 out of those guys. What is a big telling statistic, though, is Utah is killing BYU on the board 16-7. There's a look at Wesley. Yeah. You know what, though, Rich? As many problems as BYU has had, they're in this basketball game.
Yep. And you know, in the game that BYU won this year by 8, they were out-rebounded 42-26. But they made it up on the shooting percentage, especially from beyond the arc. Dawes, Leday. And he's
smart. He's a smart kid.
How about that?
Rich, that's an NBA move. That is a great move. You may look back at that one. Dead in the water, gets it on the glass, can cut it to 4. Well, that was special. Terrell Leday is an extremely athletic guy. This is a guy that I think Dick Hunsaker feared more than anybody. That's terrific.
And that's the first shot he's made today. He's 1 of 5. He's hit all 4 of his free throws, now all 5 of his free throws.
Free throws have kept BYU in the game.
Yeah, Leday now with 7. And my goodness, Irv, it's a 4-point game.
All right, let's see if the perimeter defense is as good as it was last time. There's no backside help.
There's Leday, and he could have picked up his 3rd personal.
Boy, Leday came over and did a great job because Utah got the right angle. Look at this angle to feed the post. No backside help, and Leday comes through.
That could have been a foul.
His foul.
He's got 2.
All right, let's see what kind of pressure on the perimeter. That paid off the last 2 times. Can't let them run their curls. They'll kill you.
Leday got a hand on it. Steve Cleveland almost making the steal there.
Steve's got to get some sneakers on. He's on the court.
Jeff Johnson against Cooper. The Johnson brothers in force.
There's something.
Jeff's got 4. Britton's got 9. And BYU down 6. Utah. 6 in a row they've won.
I think I'd find Nielsen right now. They're really hawking Whiting. Look at the defense on Whiting. Find Nielsen. There he is.
Officials time.
Scoreboard is out.
The scoreboard has gone out.
That's not what you need in a tight game.
No. 38-32. The shot clock was functioning. There was 8 seconds left in the possession.
Yeah. They'll get it worked out. You want to see somebody play defense. If you appreciate defense, watch what Kevin Bradley is doing right now to Whiting.
Huntsman Center, Salt Lake City, Utah. Biggest game in the Mountain West so far this year. Both teams at 8-3. Both teams tied for first. Both teams really don't like each other. Brigham Young and Utah.
You know, it used to be fun.
I like you, though, Irv.
I like you a lot, Rich. They used to play in these 2 old gymnasiums, and there was like chicken mesh. I used to referee those games and pick up the clock.
You can see the clock, 2:02.
Yeah.
2:02.
Right. And the officials are coming over, and they're finding out about it. But they used to get behind that chicken mesh. They had a guy, they called him the Animal. He was one of my favorite people. He would rattle that chicken mesh. Great rivalries. There's your clock there. Let's see if they get it squared away. Well, that's what they're looking at. They'll get this straight now. Look, they've had a rivalry here ever since the days of the old athletic director Arnie Farron playing against BYU.
And you know
like
what really fuels a rivalry, Irv, is that these are 2 schools that have had great success. I mean, it's one thing to have a rivalry. It's another thing to have a rivalry where the 2 teams are really, really good. And Brigham Young in their run into the early 90s. And, of course, Utah with Rick Majerus, Jerry Pym before.
Bill Foster, Jack Gardner.
Frank Arnold at BYU.
Late Stan Watts. Roger Reed. I mean, it's been very good basketball. This is what they're looking at. Come over and ask us. We can read that.
You know, look at the shot clock there, Irv. See the shot clock with 24 seconds on it? Let's see if they reset the shot clock too. Yeah. Because the shot clock wow, you know what? The game clock has been reset to 1:49.
Crucial part, once again, BYU trying to stay alive. So got to get Wesley going. He hadn't been able to get on track. Got to get through the half, and then he's been their horse.
Leday in trouble off to Bobick.
Hard, tough defense.
Remember, Leday will take the 3. Shot clock running down. It's short. And Bobick comes up with a loose ball. It's good hustle.
He's a pretty good athlete. I think there's a future for this guy.
He's going to take the shot and hit it.
Oh, you got to like that. 4-point basketball game.
Daniel Bobick, the freshman out of Newberry Park, California, with a big hoop.
He was recruited by Washington, Oklahoma State, Fresno State. Here's one by Leday. That's 3. That's number 3. Beat him to the turn. Got to get him out of there. And Steve will do that. Nathan Cooper coming in. All right, pick it up. If you beat him to the turn, you're in trouble. He beats him to the turn right there.
He got the left arm out.
Yeah, and that's a foul all the time.
The arm bar, as they call it. And when you do that with the off arm, that's a point of emphasis.
Yep.
They started that last year. And officials have been very consistent on that call. That's a real tough break for Brigham Young. Johnson misses. Nielsen rebounds. So they don't lose in points.
Well, they're right in this basketball game. You know, it's been such a performance by Utah, but BYU, despite Wesley's foul problems, now Leday, they're right there under a minute. They're down just 4.
Here's Whiting.
Here's a big reason why.
Whiting stumbles off to Cooper. Shot clock under 10. Nielsen. Bobbitt takes a long 3 and was fortunate to draw iron.
They'll hold for 1 shot. There's a little bit of a differential, but
yeah, shot clock at 30, so there's about a 2.5, 3-second differential.
big difference going down 2 buckets versus 3 buckets. Let's see what kind of defense you get here. I think it'll be Britton Johnson on a drive. Let's see if they find him.
He's on the baseline right now. Here comes his brother Jeff. Finds Peyton. Hit it! It's a 3!
Boy, there's where that dip pays off. Let's see if they can get a shot off. 3 seconds.
Whiting, no. Utah and Dick Hunsaker got off to a slow start. But then, boy, did they turn it up a notch. Halftime has arrived at the Huntsman Center. Utah on top of Brigham Young, 41-34.
I simply open my car, open the sunroof, play CDs, and rock it to Rusty's for Byzantine cuisine. Presto, I am happy as a tattoo on a supermodel. This is the wild neon life.
Research firms.
Research is a way to actually get a competitive edge.
People who know CSFB Direct.
I need every advantage I can in golf.
Here, try this club.
I mean the right balance of protein and carbs.
What are you talking about?
My advantage. It helps me gain healthy muscle and lose fat.
Yeah, but are you going to tell me what your advantage is?
Well, let's see. Sometimes it's caramel. Today I had chocolate.
Your advantage is chocolate.
Absolutely. Doesn't seem fair, does it?
Convenient, great tasting advantage from EAS.
Here at Cooper Tires Test Track, they're developing some pretty impressive tires.
Okay, next car.
Record time, Mr. Palmer.
Cooper Tires, drive on.
Today's Mountain West game is brought to you by Phillips 66, where we put the best in our super clean gasolines so you get the most out of your car. Think smart, think performance, think Phillips 66. By EAS, change your mind, change your body. By Thrifty Car Rental, great cars, great rates at over 1,200 locations worldwide. Thrifty Car Rental. By Comfort Inn, it's more than a room, it's comfort. And by CSFB Direct. Invest online with CSFB Direct. This is how Irv Brown arrived today. Irv, known as one of the better shredders in the Denver area.
You wait till the Olympics come here, people are going to find out the great facilities they have here.
All right, there's your leading scores, and we're underway, second half. Remember, Utah hit a 3 at the end of the first half. Burgess against Wesley. Spivey.
Boy, that's too easy.
His first 2 points of the ball game.
And if you're wondering, Wesley was 0 for 5 the first half. He's got his first touch right there.
And remember, Leday, who has the ball now, has 3 fouls. Wesley starts the half with 2. Wesley.
Nice.
And those are Wesley's first points of the game.
And he's so much better against Burgess out front. Burgess is not quick. Wesley went by him like he was standing still. He's been trying to get it down low, and it just hasn't worked out.
Wesley has been unable to get a three-point shot, and that's really one of his specialties.
There's the dive. Well done.
Nielsen can't save it, though.
That was really well done, though. They dive the post and take away Burgess' ability to put it on the floor. Here it is, right there. You saw the dive. Defense is solid. No foul.
1 minute in. 7-point ball game. Cullen, he was hot early, and he misses there.
Well, that's a tough shot, boy. You go to your left and try and square up. Good defense.
Dick Hunsaker coaching him up. This place,
they're all hollering air ball. I'll look around and see his red and white shirts. I don't see blue shirts, but somebody's hollering air ball.
Yeah, this place has really been electric today. Not only is it a rivalry, but it's for first place in the conference. Whiting, a miss. Britton Johnson the rebound. Utah on the move. Cullen a three. He's missed two. Burgess.
Look at the hustle.
Can't save it. Cooper has it. Off to Leday. Wesley.
Nice.
Oh, Spivey with a steal.
Well, that was a great effort according to the crowd. Appreciate that.
Jacobson with a loose ball. And Utah throws it away.
No tempo to start this second half.
Dick Hunsaker's team fell down 8-2 in the first half and then dominated from that point on. BYU made a run late to draw within 4. And after that 3 at the end of the half and a bucket here, it's a 7-point game, and a Utah foul draws the ire.
Rich, you made a very good point. Wesley probably needs to stay outside a little bit. Pop a three and drive.
What makes Wesley so good is he can shoot the three, and then when you get a big kid come out to get him, he can get by you.
It's mission impossible. He's just too quick. He really hadn't had any luck inside. Here he is outside again.
Yeah, you can see Burgess is out on him. Cooper. Wesley will take the three. Forced it and missed it. But Leday's got the rebound. Shot clock was reset.
Nice.
Nielsen, fouled by Cullen.
Boy, Nielsen just sneaks around, picks up the garbage. Nice pass. Going to the line. Still believe if it's tight, foul shooting will be huge. Here it is. You look inside, and Nielsen gets hit on the arm. I would imagine that Nielsen is the least known basketball player in this conference who has production. He was 4 for 4 the first half. All he does is just go and do his job quietly.
79% free throw shooter misses. Phil Cullen picks up his third personal foul, and Burgess is coming out of the game. Nate Althoff is in. Nielsen with 10 now.
Excuse me, it's a strategy was to play Dawes against Althoff to pick up the fouls. Can't do that now. You're down. You got to stay with Wesley.
6-point game. Cullen, Jacobson. Got it.
This guy's going to be one of the great shooters in this league. He came in, big reputation as a shooter. Then he worked on the other parts of his game, and people forgot just how good he can shoot. That's why they brought him in here from North Dakota.
You know, that's amazing that Travis Spivey and Nick Jacobson, the starting backcourt for Utah, did not score in the first half. And they have a pair of buckets here. Whiting.
Good defense again.
Spivey blocked by Leday.
Numbers are right, 3-on-2.
Leday. It's tipped to BYU ball.
Boy, every time we get a shot at one of the coaches, all you see is the tremendous pressure. It's just one of those games. There's Steve Cleveland. He's been in a few of these now.
Whiting off a screen. Missed it. And Utah with the lead and the ball. Brigham Young has come out cold here in the second half. Utah has stretched their lead to 8. Britton Johnson, it's a travel.
Because you really try to get up, you can't do it without moving your pivot foot. You look at Dick Hunsaker. Bobbitt comes in for Whiting. Dave Rose.
Whiting had 11 early points in the first half. And Utah has done a nice job of shutting him down since. Leday. Wesley won't take the three. Drives by Althoff. Cooper will take the three. Brigham Young can't buy a bucket. Lob pass, Althoff.
You know, the improvement in Althoff from his freshman year has just been amazing. The only reason he's starting is they picked up Burgess, but Althoff has really been a guy who's just gotten better and better. You give him those deep catches, he'll hurt you.
Leday. And a foul. Spivey. It'll be his third.
Third personal on Spivey.
So maybe some foul trouble for Utah. 10-point ball game. Nate Althoff, the only senior for Utah, with a big dunk.
Tostitos presents Battle of the Fans. Log on to Tostitos.espn.com and vote for the college with the best basketball fans. Every time you vote, you're automatically entered to win 25 grand. Brought to you by Tostitos. Dig in, kick back.
It's the fastest growing sport in the country. A sport defined by performance, determination, and teamwork. The pros know when conditions lean to the extreme, you gotta go with the performer. And the 66 team is driven to perform. To protect your engine start to finish, drive with Phillips 66 Trop Arctic Premium Quality Motor Oil.
Proof again that Phillips 66 is the performance company.
Good morning, it's 6 a.m. Come on, your meeting's in 2 hours.
Comfort Inn knows the business traveler.
I've been thinking. Kill the slides. Just talk to him.
Remember, enunciate. Take deep breaths.
Our complimentary breakfast saves you time and money.
You the man.
Our guest privileges frequency program earns you free nights fast. And we serve business travelers in over 1,500 locations worldwide.
You did it again.
I love my job.
It's more than a room. It's comfort.
Tostitos presents Battle of the Fans. Log on to Tostitos.espn.com and vote for the college with the best basketball fans. Every time you vote, you're automatically entered to win 25 grand. Brought to you by Tostitos. Dig in, kick back.
Back in Salt Lake City, Huntsman Center, 47-37. The 2001 EAS Mountain West Conference Men's Championships coming up March 8th through the 10th in Las Vegas. You can log on to mountainwestconf.com. We will have many of those games for you on ESPN, plus the other games will be on ESPN.
This will be interesting. No home court advantage. There's the foul trouble.
Spivey, Cullen, and Jacobson now with 3. You can see Wesley on the bench right now. Bobbitt, Dawes, Nielsen, Leday, and Whiting in for BYU. Cullen, Jeff Johnson, and there's Nielsen.
He's something.
Yeah, he is. He's got 12 in the ball game.
He hasn't missed a shot from the field, has he?
Yeah. Jeff Johnson, Nate Althoff, Jacobson, Spivey, and Cullen in for Utah. Utah with an 8-point lead and the ball 5 minutes in, second half.
Spacing is good, and that's so crucial, so you don't allow the double.
I told you BYU was struggling from the field, and there's the proof. 17%. Jacobson. He's got 5.
I'd like to have stock in this guy's shot. What a stroke.
This is Dawes, the freshman. Bobbitt, also a freshman. Whiting. Shot clock under 10. Leday leans in.
He'd hit that one in the first half. Big time shot.
Leday with 9 now. Back to a 9-point game. Jacobson, he's starting to feel it.
That's a tough shot. Watching Utah the last 2 weeks, though, the motion offense, the reason it's been so good is they make the extra pass.
Whiting. Leday got a man in the air. Overall toss.
Well, I tell you what, Dawes competing pretty good with Cullen.
Back in the lineup for Utes, Kevin Bradley replacing
Kevin Bradley in the ball game. He was a first half spark with 11 points. And Travis Spivey will sit down, the point guard.
So people, excuse me, Rich. People used to zone the out of bounds play. Now they man it. If you're a man-to-man coach, you man all over.
Dawes against Althoff, out to Nielsen. Over Althoff.
Oh, is he tough? He's keeping him in it.
How about Nielsen and his 14 points? This is a flashback to the Mountain West tournament last year, when BYU beat Utah. Nielsen was huge. Bobick with the foul, and it was before the shot.
before the shot. Cougars number 20.
All right, Britton Johnson will come in. Cooper will come in. That's a first-team foul.
In that Mountain West tournament, Nielsen had 17 points, 11 rebounds. Utah's defense has been outstanding as of late. Jacobson.
Boy, it's been his half, hasn't it? Whoa.
Nick Jacobson with 7 points, all in this half. Back to a 9-point game.
So smooth with that jumper.
Every time BYU makes a shot, Utah answers. Bobick gives it off to Dawes.
Nice
Two
play.
freshmen hooking up for BYU.
And that's tough. Playing the Utah-BYU game and you're just out of high school. Big future for Bobick. Big future for Dawes.
Jacobson wants it. That's why.
He money, give it to him. You talk about cash, this is the guy.
10 points for Jacobson in the second half. Utah by 10.
And Rich, it's a broken record. He came in as a shooter. Listen to this crowd. And then he worked on the other things, and people forgot what a great shooter he is. He's got a tremendous stroke.
Whiting.
Well, this could get away right now. This crowd is bananas.
Britton Johnson. Three-point shots. Utah 7 of 12. Bradley fouled by Whiting.
Team foul number 2 on the Cougars as you look at Whiting.
Second personal on Whiting. It's been all Utes. In the second half, it's been all Nick Jacobson.
Oven toasting brings out the taste.
Quiznos subs are toasted for mouth-watering flavors. Try our smoked turkey sub with roasted red pepper sauce on rosemary Parmesan bread. Quiznos. Oven toasted tastes better.
They say if you want to sell your product, get a cute little dog for your commercial. Here, Buster, fetch the 7-Up. Oh, Buster's sleepy. Trick you when you wake up, little Fred. You
$55-45. Almost midway through the second half. Nick Jacobson, the freshman out of Fargo, North Dakota.
He's something. He's hit 4 or 5 shots. He was recruited hard by Minnesota. A lot of people thought he was going there. Clemson, Texas. This guy benches 245. Look at the arms on him. Look what they've done lately, Rich. They've really come on, haven't they?
Well, they've won 6 in a row. I told you about that stretch in December where they were 3-5. Utah also had a 3-game losing streak in conference.
A lot of people counted him out. Hunsaker refused to quit, refused to let his team quit.
Jacobson on the inbound to Johnson. Wesley still on the bench for BYU. Britton Johnson. Burgess, that's a basket interference, and it may be a foul. And it will be. No points and a foul. Brigham Young and Utah, one of the great rivalries in college basketball, and today it really means a lot. Both teams at 8-3 atop the Mountain West. Rich Waltz, Irv Brown. Luke Cussero, our producer. Chip Sago, our director. From the Huntsman Center, which has been a bubbling cauldron of red today, as Utah with a 10-point lead, 11 minutes left. Cooper in the lane. Nathan
Nice.
Cooper.
Nothing was happening. Cooper just took it upon himself, goes in the lane, hits a runner, cuts it to 8.
He is the glue that holds this BYU team together.
We haven't seen Wesley for a long time.
Bradley working against Whiting. Twisted his knee on Monday. He's playing with a brace. Misses that shot. Whiting has the rebound, and Brigham Young with a chance to cut it even closer. It's an 8-point game now. Leday. Cougars have not shot the ball well from the outside, and here comes Bradley. Jeff Johnson to his brother, and it's a turnover.
This is a hand for Jacobson as he leaves.
There's the brace on the knee of Bradley. Tweaked it on Monday.
Leday is a little gimpy coming off.
Yeah, well, remember Terrell Leday has that sore arch. It was really evident 2 weeks ago when we saw him against UNLV. BYU had a 16-point halftime lead. Arch flares up. Out goes Leday. Goodbye lead. UNLV came back to win the game by 11.
That shot we had, a guy sitting next to Leday is Jeff Judkins, who's an All-American here at Utah.
That's another great subplot to this rivalry. Cooper missed that one.
Look at Coop.
Got it back and puts it in.
Boy, he's a gamer.
He's got 6.
Wesley at the scorer's table, getting ready to come back in.
It's a 6-point game. This is Burgess, dominated in the first half. Burgess.
Boy, he's just unstoppable when he gets the ball deep in the paint.
They're being very careful with his minutes as well with that sore ankle.
Yeah. You punch it inside to him, though, good things are happening.
Bobick up top to Cooper.
Cooper's got the last 2 buckets. Let's see if he takes Johnson.
Turnover.
Johnson stayed with him, moved his feet, and avoided the foul.
Wesley back in. Nielsen sits down. And if Brigham Young's going to make a run, they need some help from big number 15. Wesley tonight with just 2 points. He is 1 of 7 from the field, and he has 2 rebounds.
Leday at the scorer's table, once again limping.
Burgess again on Dawes. Wesley the foul. It's his 3rd. Remember, he picked up 2 quick ones in the first half.
Here's Burgess, lots of experience. Once again, at times dominated Elton Brand in practice at Duke. Leads Mike Krzyzewski's program, rolls here, University of Utah. He's at the line.
And he's just a junior. And that bears repeating with Utah. This is a team that returns all of their starters. They lose Nate Altoff. So whether it's Dick Hunsaker, in all likelihood, Rick Majerus will be back next year. Let's hope that his health is okay and things he was able to take this year and get everything.
Yeah. Well, his mother's been ill.
Yep.
Rick's lost some weight. He looked good.
Burgess drops that one in. 9-point ball game, 9 minutes left. Nate Knight is in the game for Brigham Young.
There he is.
Leday, sore foot and all. Mismatch, he's got Burgess on him. Shoots over Burgess and hits a big three.
Very intelligent. Burgess had to back off a little bit.
6-point game.
Look at Burgess down low. Knight's drawing the assignment now. Let's see if they try and find him, get an angle.
Bradley, now
That's
Knight.
Knight's.
Yeah, Knight and Burgess. Nate Knight, the senior out of Sandy, Utah. Started his career at Kentucky. Actually started his career at Oregon State.
That's right.
Then went to Kentucky. And now he ends up here at Brigham Young.
Brother Shane played at BYU. Travis is in the NBA.
Oh,
let's see
there's
who
Knight.
hustles. Oh, look at this.
Down they go.
Oh, that's a rolling block.
Spivey, boy, how did he stay in bounds? And it's a Utah ball. Both coaches up, trying to encourage their clubs. Coaches like stuff like this.
You better believe it. Football coaches like noise. That's why we have those hard headgears. And basketball coaches like people to skin their knees.
Well, look at Spivey on the sideline. Steve Cleveland last year went to the NIT and won 2 games. They lost in the 3rd round at Notre Dame. 22-7 last year. Or rather 22-11. They were 7-7 in conference. Bradley, lucky he didn't get a 3-second call. Burgess. Wesley the rebound. And Brigham Young has a chance to cut it to 4 with 8 minutes left in the ball game.
They've been able to hang around without Wesley, their best on the road. Giving them any production. He's got 1 bucket, a layup.
Leday, crossover. Leday, the runner. And he'll get free throws.
That's team foul number 5 on the Utes.
And Leday is really limping.
Yeah, he is. Got a bad arch. Let's pick it up on the drive. Very few BYU players have penetrated through the years. This is what he gives to this program. Cooper's going to come back in.
I think he's coming in for Leday, though, after the free throws.
Yeah, he's really limping. Cooper's done a nice job.
Leday at the line for the Cougars. Shooting 2.
Well, he's coming in for Bobick, actually. So Leday's going to guts it out.
That foul was on Burgess, his 2nd. Terrell Leday with 13 now. Fresno City College. That Utah bench so deep, deeper than the BYU bench. But somehow, some way, despite foul troubles, Brigham Young has hung in. 7.5 minutes left in this one. 58-54, Utah.
Simple question. The same exercises, the same number of hours. Who pushes his body to the next level? Answer, the one who wants it more. High-performance products from EAS to support muscle growth, reduce body fat, and improve performance.
The beach ball must be put away on the game will not start. The beach ball must be put away or the game will not start, ladies and gentlemen.
58-54, Utah on top of BYU. Now let's take a look at our Thrifty Car Rental drive of the game. First half, Britton Johnson. Little ball fake, little scoop, and deserving of our Thrifty Car Rental drive of the game.
One more time with him. Just kind of reminds you of a guy who played here, Danny Vrains, who's their 7th all-time leading scorer. That kind of ability and athleticism.
And speaking of the name Vrains, BYU is playing this entire year without one of their more athletic players, Michael Vrains.
Best defender they had, I thought.
Broken foot. It sounds as if after a surgery or two, they'll have him back next year. Britton Johnson on the bench. It is a 4-point game.
It's going to get real interesting, Rich. The foul count right now is not a factor. It will be.
Both Leday and Wesley have 3. Jacobson with the ball. He's got 3.
All right, they've gone to his own.
Burgess is out. Althoff is in for Utah. Spivey, a rare 3. No, he finds Althoff, who dunks.
Problem when you go away from your man-to-man and you're a man-to-man team, a lot of times if you just keep passing the ball, somebody shakes loose.
Wesley driving. And he traveled.
Kelly Wesley just not able to get rolling.
He has had so many great nights and great days in his career, but today has been a real struggle for him. 1 for 7, 3 rebounds. 6-point game. Johnson. The baseline drive. Oh, the runner won't go. He hit that shot in the first half. Whiting with the rebound, and here comes Brigham Young.
Nielsen getting ready to come back in. There's Whiting.
Oh, Whiting with a finger roll. Althoff the rebound.
Boy, the tension in here is unbelievable.
Well, there's a lot at stake between two bitter rivals.
The Huntsman Center hooligans haven't sat down the entire game.
Jacobson against Leday. Spivey. He'll take the 3. Miss it. Knight with the rebound. Leday is fouled.
All right, that's team foul number 6 on the Utes.
Our game summary brought to you by Comfort Inn. Trent Whiting with his 11 points for BYU. All of those came early. No points in the second half. BYU, as they've done all year, has hit their free throws. Chris Burgess at times has been dominant, and the Utes have hit their 3-point shots. Six-point ball game. Fresh shot clock. Nielsen in with Cooper, Leday, Knight. There goes Whiting, and he's fouled.
All right, that's the bonus now. 17 fouls on the University of Utah, and 5:30 left.
And Brigham Young.
Let's see if there's contact here. Yeah, there is.
What do you mean?
Just a little.
He fouled them twice. He fouled them with the right leg and then the left leg.
Got him with the left leg. Game is played with the hands. Is that what you're saying?
Brigham Young is the best free throw shooting team in the Mountain West. They are 4th in the country. And as you saw, they're 11 of 13 today.
It's kept them around.
Spivey sits down with 4 personals. Whiting goes to the line. It's his first free throw of the day. $12 points for Whiting, his first point since early in the first half.
And you mentioned where they stand. Look at their national ranking. They've always had shooters at BYU.
2 big free throws from Trent Whiting.
And look at here, Rich. It's on the line. Wesley sitting down.
4-point game.
You go with your gut feel here, Steve Cleveland.
Well, I'm sure he's giving Wesley a rest, and McKinley will be back in shortly.
Yep.
Although Knight has given him some quality minutes in this second half. Jacobson. Utah looks tentative offensively.
Yeah, they do, and they haven't been. Hunsaker's trying to get him going.
Yeah, shot clock, you can see it. Bradley's a dangerous three-point shooter. So is Jacobson, a long one.
Oh, boy, you talk about a will breaker. BYU plays outstanding defense, and Jacobson jumps up from an NBA three and buries it.
13 second-half points for Nick Jacobson. Whiting. It's a BYU ball, no foul. How about Nick Jacobson? He did not attempt a shot in the first half, and he's got 13 points. That is about a 24-footer.
Unreal. Father's a high school coach. And he's coming out. They're going wild now. Big shot. Big time. All right, Steve Cleveland is coming out and wants to know why the clock is running.
Yeah. And then Dave Hall.
Just what you need when you're an official. If somebody forgot to push the button.
Well, this is a correctable error. David Hall, the official, is going to come to the scores table. Clock continued to run after that dead ball.
Well, you know what happens. The clock operator's watching the game. I can understand that. That happens. It's an exciting game. Burgess coming back in.
Remember, the scoreboard actually went off. Literally, not figuratively, in the first half. And now they're trying to, yeah, they put, what, 16 seconds back on the clock. What a shot by Jacobson. BYU had defended the shot clock down to a couple seconds, and he hits a three. Leday,
picked off.
Not a good idea.
How about Britton Johnson? Big play.
Crowd on their feet. Cullen, you can see the turnovers. Not a lot, really.
Can't let him get deep.
Burgess.
He gets down there. There's no answer for him. You got to dive the post.
14 points for Burgess.
All right, Wesley coming back in. It's a 9-point game. 4 minutes on the nose.
BYU needs a bucket. Leday. Cullen.
They'll use some clock now. It's a pretty disciplined bunch.
Burgess.
A lot of room to operate now. Now they're diving.
Burgess. Knight got a piece of it. Cooper with the loose ball.
See if he can outrun Johnson.
He's fouled, and fouled hard.
Well, they know each other. Both natives. This state.
Number 31, Britton Johnson, his first.
Here it is. Johnson, a little quicker, catches up with him. One more look. You make these, it's better than the dish off that he had because it puts the foul count closer to 10. The foul count is 8 and 4, so this is a 1 and 1. You get to 10, you shoot 2.
First personal on Britton Johnson. Cooper hits
just automatic, aren't they, at the line?
Yeah, they are today. 14 of 16, Irv.
Yep.
Quality minutes by that guy, Nate Knight, in the second half. But Wesley's back in. Cooper trying to bring it back within 7. He did. 8 points for Nathan Cooper. Utah trying to finish off BYU, and Nick Jacobson continues to stroke it.
great car at a great rate. Call or click Thrifty.
Good morning, it's 6 a.m. Come on, your meeting's in 2 hours.
Comfort Inn knows the business traveler.
I've been thinking. Kill the slides. Just talk to him.
Remember, enunciate. Take deep breaths.
Our complimentary breakfast saves you time and money.
You the man.
Our guest privileges frequency program earns you free nights fast. And we serve business travelers in over 1,500 locations worldwide.
You did it again.
I love my job.
It's more than a room, it's comfort.
You know, I wouldn't mind getting low and getting one place there. I really like this Jacobson.
For a great car at a great rate. Call or click Thrifty.
Today's Mountain West game is brought to you by Cooper Tires. A lot of mileage for the money. Cooper Tires. Drive on.
Welcome back to Salt Lake City, the Huntsman Center. 65-58. Utah on top of Brigham Young in a ball game charged with emotion. There's your reset. BYU has some fouls to give, so to speak. Both teams have some timeouts left. BYU with the possession arrow. Now Brigham Young needs a stop. They almost had a stop about a minute ago when Nick Jacobson hit a long three-point shot. And that rebuilt the comfort zone for Utah.
Pretty patient team, spinning around the outside. They reverse it pretty good.
And they're running shot clock. Down to a dozen. This is Cullen. Lost it. And Wesley touched it last. Shot clock has 6 on it. 6 on the shot clock. Dick Hunsaker says, let's get a good shot.
And that's how important this possession is, to use a 20-second timeout. A lot of pressure on this guy all year long.
Irv, about 3 weeks ago, everyone said, in the Mountain West, who can get an at-large bid into the tournament? And nobody mentioned Utah.
No, they didn't.
But you know what? If Utah wins out and gets beat in the championship game of the tournament, I think with their RPI at 44, and BYU's RPI is at 46, I think Utah could get an at-large bid.
I totally agree.
We give you the finish presented by EAS. Change your mind, change your body. And the finish here today will decide who resides in first place in the Mountain West Conference, at least for the time being. Wyoming is a half game back at 7-3. These two clubs are 8-3.
And make no mistake about it, because of the foul count, you still have a shot if you're BYU.
Shot
2:52 left.
Down to 4. Oh, they did it again!
Britton Johnson.
And a technical foul after the shot, I think, on Nate Althoff.
All right, now what's this all about? Dick Hunsaker's coming out.
I think the shot will count. There was a foul after a technical foul called. I believe it was Nate Althoff. And let's see if we can find it. The officials.
Boy, this is a killer because the clock is stopped. Last 3 minutes of his home career. Here's a shot. Johnson, 6 seconds left. He buries it. Let's see what happened. Oh, they're waltzing around inside. All right, let's look at the lower left of the screen, see if we can pick up. Fighting with Cooper.
No, we lost it. It must have happened after that, Earl.
Yeah. Well, Johnson with the huge bucket. Nate, his parents were here. They honored him. Oh, coach came back. Rick Majerus. All right, boy, the coaches are really getting upset. Dick Hunsaker is saying, why is Steve Cleveland out on the floor? Steve Cleveland is saying, why is Dick Hunsaker out on the floor? BYU, that's the emotion of this game.
BYU will get 2 free throws and the basketball. but the bucket was huge. How big are those last two possessions for Utah?
With Jacobson and Johnson.
Althoff, the all-time field goal percentage leader.
Well, I saw Majerus turn this guy into a man, because he wasn't a man when he first started here. He had some growing up to do, and Rick was terrific with him. This guy's going to earn some money somewhere. 7-foot guys, all the leagues there are. Cooper missed the first one. He'll earn some money. He can play professionally someplace.
Nathan Cooper missed the first. BYU will get the possession. So Cooper is 1 of 2 on that one. 9 points in the game. Brigham Young ball. They would have had the ball anyway, so it was their possession to begin with. So essentially, the Althoff technical costs Utah 1 point.
They want to get Spivey in the ball game now. They'll have a nuisance press on just to make him use some time. It's a little early to start thinking about threes, but if it's wide open, you know Whiting's going to take it.
Whiting, Leday, and Wesley are the three-point shooters for BYU. Brigham Young needs points in a hurry. Utah on top at home, staring at first place. Wesley missed the three. Cullen has the loose ball.
2:25 left. They'll use some time here. Here's where the foul count kills you. You foul them, they'll take it out of bounds. They get a fresh 35.
BYU got the look they wanted. Wesley had a clean look at a three.
2 fouls to give. They better use them quick. You can't let them keep spinning it around.
Yeah, Utah, as good as they get in the half court running clock. Whiting gets the foul.
And this is all to Utah's advantage. Fresh clock.
This just in, Irv. New Mexico comes back to beat Colorado State. How about that for the Lobos and Fran Fraschilla? New Mexico is now 6-5 in the conference. Colorado State is now 4-7. And we remind you that both BYU and Utah go on the road to Air Force and to New Mexico next week.
Rudy Davalos is the athletic director down there. He's on the NCAA committee. And Rudy believes that if New Mexico only loses one of these 4 games and gets to the final of the tournament, they could go. Look at this.
Well, I don't know. BYU, Utah, these standings are updated. Wyoming has Air Force tonight. In fact, that game tips off in about an hour. UNLV, of course, cannot participate in the tournament. UNLV is at San Diego State tonight. On Monday, it's New Mexico at Wyoming on Big Monday on ESPN, and Air Force at Colorado State. For those of you scoring at home, here is today's schedule.
All right, here's the deal. You got to watch your body balance. BYU is going to try and draw a charge.
Yeah, and because it's not the bonus, the shot clock is reset, and if Brigham Young is going to foul, they got to foul again in a hurry.
Yeah, you got to turn into an alley fight now or you're dead.
Because you got 35 seconds back on the clock. I'm stunned that they haven't fouled at this point, Irv.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Utah ran clock down to 10 seconds in the shot clock and got a reset. Bradley drives and scores.
And that might be the one that kills him. 10-point lead.
13 for Kevin Bradley. Wesley fouled by Cullen.
All right, this is a 1-on-1 coming. 9 personal fouls. BYU has only committed 5. That means they've got to try and flop immediately and see if they can get a break. Can't let them spin it around and get a fresh 35.
Wesley hits the free throw. It's been a long day for McKelly Wesley as Cooper sits down. 1 of 8 from the field. And that free throw is his 4th point.
All right, here's the press. Now you got to draw the charge or flop or foul quickly.
Bradley. Fouled by Whiting.
All right, they'll inbound it now. That's 6 personals.
4th on Whiting. So Whiting has 4. Leday and Wesley with 3. You can see the foul situation and the timeouts. You get a fresh 10 seconds as well.
All right, there's the 1-and-1. Is it impossible? No. Duke beat Maryland when they had no shot. Anything's possible. Right now, though, the University of Utah in great shape.
And Utah is a very good free throw shooting team as well. 70%. Second in the conference to BYU. And boy, what a win this would be for Dick Hunsaker and Utah. They would go to 18-9. It would be their 7th consecutive conference win. And that would propel them into the last weekend of the regular season. Bradley with a shot. Bradley's got 14. He doesn't start, but he's their leading scorer. Nate Althoff's last appearance on this floor. This is the last home game for these Utes. Bradley with 15. Spivey back in. Whiting takes a long 3. Hit it! He hit it! 16 for Whiting.
20-second timeout.
Minute 20 left. 7-point game.
Let's pick this up. Whiting, who started out hot. Long range here. Buries one. Cuts it to 7. One more time. Kid out of Idaho. Started his career right here at the University of Utah and then transferred.
You know, had Whiting transferred somewhere else into another conference, he would be a junior this year.
That's right.
But because he transferred in conference, he lost that redshirt year. 71-64. 1:20 left. He wanted to play for BYU, and boy, has he this year. 15 points a game. He had 21 against Utah the last time they met. Huntsman Center sold out as expected. Biggest game of the year in this conference. And Utah has a 7-point lead, 1:20 left.
Well, you got to get a break if you have no shot.
Bradley, Montague is in the foul. And he does.
1:15 left in the ball game. Whiting and Leday come back. Offense, defense.
Spivey goes to the line to shoot 1-and-1. Both Whiting and Leday with their 4 personals are back in. Cooper is in as well. He's not a bad 3-point shooter.
I'll tell you, it's going to be a huge basketball game, Rich. We have it next week. Utah at New Mexico. That's a tough place to play. Fran Fraschilla now has won 3 in a row in the conference.
In case you've just joined us, New Mexico came back to beat Colorado State in Fort Collins today. And that is an over and back. So it's a turnover. Jacobson was in the backcourt. So they get 1 of 2 free throws from Spivey. And Utah with an 8-point lead. There's still a lot of time left. 1:11 left. You know, even a 2 at this point isn't bad, Irv.
No. You got to do it quick.
Well, he's going to take a long 3. There's Nielsen, and he's going to the line.
So the clock is stopped. You got a chance now.
6 seconds elapsed.
You got a chance to cut it down to 2 threes. You still need a break. You need a flop. You need a turnover.
And that's 5 fouls on Phil Cullen.
Cullen getting his teammates together, saying, look, we just got a minute left. Do not blow it. Here's the hand for Cullen. He'll be back next year. He'll be pitching this spring. How'd you like to see Cullen step? You're an old baseball player. When I was coaching, we went against a guy named Dave Robish who pitched for Kansas. He looked like he's right on top of you. That's what Cullen looks like.
6'10", or rather 6'9". But that's Randy Johnson-ish.
Yeah.
Johnson, of course, played basketball at USC.
That's right.
All right, here we go. 72-64. Nielsen
gets 2, hits the first.
All right, they sent Knight, and they want him to hammer somebody quick. Just make sure it doesn't look intentional.
He's the proverbial
hammer.
hatchet man, right? Nate Althoff back in his final minute in the Huntsman Center. The only senior in uniform for Utah.
Excuse me, Rich. You don't have any time to decide who's a poor free throw shooter. You foul the first guy you see. Take your chances.
Nielsen, 16 points for Nielsen. Full court pressure. Got to get it in.
There's
they
your
do.
foul.
And Althoff is fouled.
That may not look unintentional. That was a pretty good tackle.
Well, I'll tell you what. Knight on the original foul held on to Althoff. That's a good news, bad news. The bad news is he holds on to him. The good news is he keeps him from falling, and it looks worse than it is. And here come the foul trouble bunch for BYU back in. They'll come back on the floor.
And like most college basketball games, the last 2 minutes take 20. Coaches take over. Still a lot of strategy. Got to hit the first one to get the second one. 1-on-1.
Althoff is a very good free throw shooter. 77%. Steve Cleveland's got 2 timeouts left, both 30s. And Utah trying to stretch this lead a little bit more. He hit them both. 2 big free throws by the senior. And Althoff.
Boy, what a hand the young guy's getting, isn't he?
An emotional exit after 2 big free throws. He may not be done yet. He may be back in the game. Here's the line. Johnson with the block. That was Jeff Johnson. Leday with his 5th. Or no, excuse me, it's his 4th.
Right.
There's a look at Althoff.
Yeah. A nice little run here. You know, I'm not sure I've ever seen a 6'9" kid like Britton Johnson who's a better dribbler with the left hand. This guy's really worked on it. A guy like Bob Pettit was a great player, but he could never put it on the floor with his left hand. This guy does it like it's nothing.
Britton Johnson at the line, shooting for the Utes.
Britton Johnson, 65%. He'll get 2. Hits the first. 9-point Utah lead. Hit them both. He's got 13. Whiting going to the bucket. Got it back.
Oh, look at that shot.
Oh, he's got a free throw coming too. How about that?
This will be on ESPN tonight. Look at this shot here. Well, that's for the highlights.
Wow.
That is really something.
Just trying to draw the contact, and he got the contact from Burgess.
He really did a great job today.
Whiting with the 3-point play.
Althoff and Bradley back in for Burgess.
I told you Nate Althoff wasn't done
That's
yet.
right.
I mean, he had his big swan song. He kissed the floor.
Yeah, that's right.
He took the high fives. He started to cry. And the reason he's back on is this earth round. Chris Burgess is a 45% free throw shooter. They don't want Burgess on the floor right now. Althoff is at 77%. They want guys on the floor that are good free throw shooters.
Well, and Dick Hunsaker obviously has not put it in the left-hand column yet.
Yeah.
He believes there's some basketball left to be played. I'm telling you what, after what happened with Duke and Maryland, nobody gives up. Nobody counts 10.
2 timeouts each. Everyone with 10. BYU has the possession arrow. These 2 teams met at the end of January down at BYU, and Brigham Young beat Utah. In fact, it was the 2nd consecutive win against the Utes.
Excuse me, what's going to happen if this holds this score and they play on a neutral floor, which could happen? The last time we saw this, We saw it last year. We did the game. BYU won a ball game with Nielsen going wild.
Yeah. What's going to happen if Nate Althoff has to go off the court again? What does he do
He
for an
might get
encore?
tired.
Jeff
You know what?
Johnson going to
Nobody's
the line.
leaving. If you got an early play and you're in trouble, nobody is leaving. It's been that kind of game.
Johnson gets 2. Jeff Johnson. And he hits the first. He's at 77%. Both these teams are fabulous free throw shooting teams. Utah at 70. BYU at 77.
He ain't heavy. He's my brother. These two Johnsons can play.
Out of Murray, Utah, the Johnson brothers. You can call me Johnson.
That's right. Just a nuisance press to force him to use 6-7 seconds, and it works.
9-point game. Bobbitt going strong, and
He's an athlete. You're going to hear from him. That explosion looked like Danny Ainge. That first step.
Ainge's son is in the program
Yeah.
on an LDS mission right now.
Danny was terrific. I don't think he ever had a day off. He played for the Toronto Blue Jays, and then come and play right away. You're from the Pacific Northwest. I've got some friends up there that told me Danny Ainge could have been a great wideout. He could catch the ball. He could explode, accelerate, everything. Just one of those naturals.
I don't doubt it.
Red Auerbach said there are only 3 players he ever wanted to watch in practice. Bill Russell, Larry Bird, and Danny Ainge. Guess who's reporting at the scores bench? Nate Althoff.
Althoff's coming back in. He's having a hard time saying goodbye.
Yeah, that's right. There he is. Nate. They keep giving him a standing ovation. Maybe that's why he keeps coming back. You know, the PA announcer could just record it. Nate Althoff in for Chris Burgess.
Bobbitt gets one more. 8-point game with 25 seconds left.
Do not rule out a rubber game being played in Las Vegas. It's entirely possible.
Foul in backcourt. Spivey will go, rather, Bradley will go to the line. Trent Whiting. The subplots in this series are incredible. You've got Whiting, who transferred from Utah to finish his career at BYU. You've got Jeff Judkins, as you mentioned, on the BYU staff, who was a longtime Utah assistant and a great player here at Utah. You've got Chris Burgess, who was recruited hard by BYU, and when he spurned him for Duke, drew the ire of fans and coaches. And he's back in a Utah uniform.
You know, we said at the top, Rich, or I guess I did, that the big 3 would have to put up 45 points if they had no shot. And it just didn't happen.
There's Bobbitt with the left hand.
Like that guy.
7-point game and a foul. BYU not going quietly.
No, they're not.
Crowd doesn't appreciate it.
Hey, what do they want? They want this. You want Steve Cleveland to quit? You never quit. You don't know what's going to happen. Oh, that's cold. NIT, they're yelling.
Last year, Steve Cleveland went to the NIT and he won 2 games. They lost on the road to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And there was nothing to be ashamed about that last year.
I will be real surprised if the Mountain West Conference doesn't get 2 representatives.
Really?
Really surprised, yeah. And it could be these 2 here. Steve McLean's team. Hold me to that.
I'll hold you to that. Whiting. His 3 is good.
He's a gamer.
8 seconds left. It's a 6-point game.
Daniel Bobbitt
with a foul. Bradley goes to the line. And here is Utah. Nobody talked about Utah and a Mountain West championship 2 or 3 weeks ago after they'd lost 3 in a row. They were sitting at 500, 3-3. Everyone was talking about Wyoming and BYU.
You know, it changed all that. UNLV going into Laramie and winning. Wyoming had won 3 on the road, and people just assumed that, hey, this is the club.
The shot
now
heard,
they're in a
it was
fight.
the shot heard around the conference.
Yeah.
Delron Johnson's 3.
That's right.
Montague trying to get a shot away, and it's over. Utah, for the time being, sits all alone atop the Mountain West Conference. 82-75 is your final today. Our standings in the Mountain West. Utah 9-3, BYU 8-4, Wyoming is at 7-3. Next week, the season finishes right here on ESPN Plus with Utah at New Mexico at One Mountain. The 230th meeting of these two schools, and it is tied at 115-115. That is simply amazing. Utah wins it today. They lead the Mountain West Conference. This has been a presentation of ESPN Plus, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports television.
Don't forget, hey, free beach chalupas, everybody. When the Utes win, it's 75 points or more. You have to shop the free beach chalupa.
All right, hey, Chris.
Just to talk about your free beach chalupa.